So hello and welcome back to the GorillaBiker, and today we're going to be talking about a couple of different things, but one of them is Sonder, which I'll explain in a moment. Another thing is the Z, because I actually think I have a little plan. Also the V-Strom, because the V-Strom hasn't been a video, people are asking. But yeah, mainly Sonder, and also this cool new camera I have that you're probably looking through right now. And yeah, kind of where everything's at, because some people have asked about, like, we went on a trip recently that I had spoken about, and we went to Chattanooga. And yeah, I haven't actually edited any videos there yet, and the reason for that is you look gorgeous, bud. They take a lot of time to edit, and I just haven't had a lot of that in the last couple of weeks since we got back. So yes, those videos are coming. Just have to obviously cover other things off first. Okay, so Sonder. I'm actually going to go straight because I don't know what's down here. I've never gone straight, I don't think. Little jump. Oi! I don't know what's down here, so let's have a look. Yeah, Sonder, right. Sonder is basically the realization, or the theory, I suppose. Right now, it's more realization, that everyone that you pass by has, you know, a life equally as complex and vibrant as your own. Now, I could be completely misquoting that, but I know it's something like that. Sorry, Kalamoto, I'm probably really upsetting you right now, but anyway, I haven't been down here before, kind of getting grey. But yeah, it's something that's very much interested me recently, when I actually saw that there was a name for it, and it came up. Another thing that I really like, you know, is there's actually a song called Sonder, and I knew the song before I knew the meaning of the word. Oh, that's a really nice house in front of us. But now I know what it means. Makes the song even better. And I'm not allowed to play the song, unfortunately, because corporations rule the world, I suppose. But yeah, that's a song I enjoy, and it was cool to find out that it was actually, I assume, named after this particular topic. And why I kind of thought of it as something to talk about is, you know, myself and Niall were driving to work recently, and myself and Niall work in the same place, so we carpool. But yeah, that's something that came up because we went past a guy who obviously had stuff going on. You know, Niall overtook him. Dude lost his mind anyway. Eventually went back past us, swerved into our lane as if to hit Niall's car, which, like, when you think about it, is another level of unhinged. You know what I mean? Like, you could literally, like, seriously hurt yourself and someone else because of some perceived issue, even though genuinely, as a unbiased watcher, because I would mock any of my friends incessantly if they did something stupid on the road, but he did nothing wrong. Like, the zero wrong, lots of space left. Anyway, that's what brought it up, is both of us commented that, you know, he clearly just has something going on that day. And while that does not forgive dude's actions, it absolutely doesn't. I think said person sucks, to be honest. You know, it's something that always makes me interested, and it's something that I think, you know, a lot of people could do with thinking about more, because so many people now just aren't nice to other people, you know, and so many people think, like, oh, my life is so terrible. And I'm getting to a point with this, and I think if people realise that, you know, the other person in front of you could have like 15 sick family members, they could have just stepped on Lego, and also might have some terrible world-ending information that they just got going on, and we just never, you know, a lot of people just don't kind of recognise that, and I personally try to, but sometimes it's hard to not be, you know, reactionary. Anyway, that was what brought that to mind. Another thing that brought it to mind was, you know, I got a couple of not comments. I got a couple of messages recently from people. Some of them who I would consider friends over the years. You know, asking, was I all right, because I didn't seem happy, and maybe it's because I don't even think I'm the most naturally empathetic person, but I try to be empathetic. You know, I try to see things from other people's perspective and feel what they may or may not feel. And, you know, my answer was, yeah, I'm okay, but, you know, there are several things making me less than as happy as I should be, say. And you know, currently there's nothing I can really do about that. Like, there's obviously a lot going on in the world that, due to the fact I'm on a visa, and this is completely going to be an apolitical statement. I'm not going to say anything, you know, for or against anything, because I can't. You know, because of where I live and the fact I'm on a visa, I don't feel comfortable voicing opinions on a lot of things. Not only that, but I never voiced these opinions on a lot of things because I didn't want to. You know, this channel has always been about bikes, and that is also why, you know, while I might not be the happiest I have ever been right now, we're not going to talk about it. And I just wanted to explain that I do appreciate that people, you know, are like, hey, you don't seem as happy as you could be. It's not that I don't appreciate that, it's just that that's not what this channel was ever for. You know, it was for an escape for me, and also an escape for everyone watching, I suppose, from life. You know, I started it in 2019 when I was less happy than I am now for various reasons. That makes me happy though. And obviously then, you know, the world changed in 2020, and this channel definitely helped me then stay sane and make a lot of friends all over the globe. And now, you know, yes, sometimes some of the videos are cause for me not being as happy as I could or should be, just because of the performance. But also, you know, that sometimes I just need to... I've already accomplished way more than I ever thought I would with this channel, so it's one of those things that I'd probably just... I don't need to focus on that stuff as much, you know, and just kind of be happy with what I have accomplished. Oh, this bike sounds so good. But yeah, who knows? Maybe one day it'll take off. I think the thing that I really wanted, hoped for, was that one day I would get invited to go to, you know, some bike review things. But now, also talking to people, I realize that a lot of those, you know, while everyone says they're you know, honest reviews and all that, and maybe they're, I'm not calling out anyone as the fact that they weren't honest. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that without evidence. But I think it's one of those things. That, like, I now realize that they're a lot more contained. But still, at the same time, you know, would I love to go and find out for myself one day? Absolutely. Would I hope to go and find out for myself one day? Absolutely. Because I like, you know, I just love engines. I love how, you know, everything goes together. I mean, a huge part of the reason I did the Valkyrie was so I could take it apart. You know, I wanted to take that bike apart because I'd never done a big cruiser before, and I wanted to see how it went together. Bikes to me are just like giant kind of, you know, Meccano sets. Moosies. And, you know, that's a large part of why I like working on them and taking them apart, is because they're giant Meccano sets. Oh, cows are so cool and friendly. And, you know, the more I work on them, the more I learn, and the more I can look after my own stuff. But yeah, then onto this bike, you know, and I still, people have asked me, have I sold it? Because, you know, I put up a photo recently on Instagram, and I got a few messages like, did you sell it? Because I had been talking about it. And no, I would cover that here before I ever sold it. People who watch the channel, I would offer it to them before I ever sold it, you know, because I think, or I'd offer it to you, I suppose, is the correct terminology, because I think that's only fair, you know, you've supported the channel and whatnot. But the other day I was at NC Bike with N2 track days. I recommend both places. I recommend N2 and I recommend NC Bike. But I hurt my hip, and now I've always had, I don't know, does everyone, well, you know, watch all the videos, but I hurt my hip. I've always had issues with my right hip. For like the longest time I've had issues with my right hip. But you know, now this time it was my left hip, and actually I thought I'd initially pulled my hamstring, but then the next day it was definitely my hip, unfortunately. So I'm waiting to find out exactly what I've done, but hopefully it's not the same as my right hip, because with my right hip I just have to manage it, and actually it's been okay. But that brings us back to this, that I actually think I want to be able to bring the SV650 and this to the track, because obviously this is a much less strenuous position on my hips. I think I've been this way before. I don't know where Kalimoto is bringing me, but we'll find out. You know, this is a much less strenuous position on my hips, and you know, I'd like to have it there as an option. But I think it'd work really well if I got like the Giles rear sets, because they seem to offer, like, you know, I think even if I get like 20-25 mil up, I think that would be really good actually, and give me a lot more kind of comfort and movement on the bike. Because the biggest problem with this bike on the track for me was my ground clearance. You know, I'd hit the pegs at my feet way too early. So that's something I'd like to fix, and then be able to bring it to the track as an option. I mean, grand scheme of things, I think if I could get an MT-09 SP instead of this, that would be the move. But for what these are worth right now, I don't think it'll be worth it. You know, I don't think it'll be worth it. So I don't think I'm gonna do that. New home starting from the 400s. Houses are so expensive. Houses are so expensive. Oh, there's a dog park. So this is what they look like. I mean, they're fine, but I don't know. I just think houses are too expensive now, don't you? I don't know. Like, for me, I would rather live, and this is a little hot take from Michael, or maybe an extremely cold take. We'll find out. But for me, I would actually rather live in a shed and have money to travel, than, you know, pay the 400s for these and live, like, you know, arm's reach from another family. Like, a 2-car garage is fine, but the problem is it's going to be a HOA, and they're going to say the same thing that where I rent is. You know, like, no mechanical work in your garage, which of course I never do any mechanical work in my garage, folks, ever. I would never do that. That would be terrible if I was to do that. So I don't, you know, I would never I would never do that. Come on, people, don't think the worst of me. I would rather have money to travel and money for bikes and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. I know I've talked about it before, so I won't labour the point. But for me, I would rather have like a barn dominium style thing. There is so anyway, that's one thing I'd actually really like to do with this, is put the Giles, Giles, Gilles, Gillies, the Giles. I'd like to put them on so that this was more of an option for the track for me, basically. And then that would also let me kind of, it's not even an investment, because the Ivan's performance tune I have on this, if I want to make the extra changes, you just pay postage. He does the extra changes for free. And there is one more mod. I have to do the airbox mod, and then send him back to ECU, and then you get considerably more power, and you can also raise the rev limiter by like 500. And I'd also like to do another Heeltech quickshifter on this one, because the Heeltech quickshifter I have on the SV, thanks to, I'm not allowed to name him, thanks to the kindness of the person who bought the Aprilia back in Ireland, my SL1000 Falco, and that actually fit perfectly, same kit and everything, it fit perfectly onto the SV. And I would like to do one of them on here as well, just because on the track, quickshifters are amazing. They're so much fun. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Bit patchy there. Skip that. Woo! Oh, I love this bike. Well, yeah, just so I have an option to bring both bikes to the track, say, and, you know, have fun on both. And you know, it is a major investment. And actually, I want to cover, you know, someone was asking me recently about, you know, the Valkyrie, and how I afforded the tyres on the Valkyrie, and also, well, one of the tyres on the Valkyrie and two of the tyres on the SV. I'll talk about that in a sec, which tyres I got. Was you. That was all bought through YouTube ad revenue that I've been saving for most of the year. I got 3 tyres out of it. And, you know, that is one of the things that made me kind of step back and, you know, be like, well, I don't get that many views really on my new videos, but it doesn't matter because it lets me do that. Like, I would not have been able to buy 2 new tyres that I use on the SV on track and 1 new tyre on the Valkyrie to get the Valkyrie finished, and then I bought the other tyre myself out of the Valkyrie. But like, all joking aside, you know, I've always been very firm on the fact that all the money that's made from the channel goes back into the channel, and you know, that's, I'm a stickler for that, because for me it's important. You know, you don't watch this video so I can pay my rent. You watch this video probably because you like bikes and want to see more bike stuff. So, oh, look at that! That is a serious Halloween decoration. Oh, look, more houses that are. Oh, those actually have gardens. No way! What are these? How much are these ones? From the upper 400s, Browning Stables. I kind of want to turn around and go in there. We go in there? Will we go in there? No, you're right. You're right. Why depress ourselves more? We'll do a big break instead. I love braking. Braking is fun. But yeah, that's Sonder. That's, you know, I think my new plan for this. And you know, every time I think about selling it, I just get sad when I ride it, because I absolutely love this bike. It was a dream bike for mine, and you know, do things become not dreams anymore once you've accomplished them? I think probably yes, right? I think it's no longer a dream if you've lived that dream, right? It's just it's a really cool thing now. You know, and I'd seen these when they were first released, and then I really luckily got to ride one thanks to Freeman Motorcycles to do a review on, and now I own one, and you know, I've made it mine. It's the suspension is suspensioned for me and everything else, and yeah, it'd be cool. Especially since, you know, like, if I was to buy an MT-09, yeah, MT-09s are really, really cool and probably better for the track. Well, not probably, they're better for the track than one of these. But then, you know, I'm back at square one. I need to respring it, and I need all the work that I've done to this one again, and that's instead of just, you know, investing in some rear sets and, you know, bumping the tune up, because I mean, the airbox work doesn't cost anything really, it's just some work. Oh, old house. That probably looks like it'd be a nice house, nice land around it. Anyway, for people asking me about my stances on things, and you know, if I'm sad, I do appreciate you reaching out, I genuinely do. But it's not something I've ever wanted to discuss on the channel, and also even if I really wanted to, currently, just because of the world and me being on a visa and whatnot, I wouldn't risk it. And I think that says more about the state of the world than I could ever say. And I do think, you know, the whole Sonder thing plays into that. Is, you know, people have just become so insanely divided, and I know this is a boring topic for everyone, but it's one of those things. It's like everyone is angry at everyone, you know, if you look online. But actually, and this is a question I have also been asked about America, most of the time, and this is 100%, you know, my lived experience, most of the time, most people are just normal people. Yeah, they might have differing opinions, who cares? I have friends who are wildly different on the political spectrum. So what? You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that, provided you can actually have a conversation about it. Like, I have some friends who are some of my best friends who definitely differ on a lot of opinions and whatnot to me. And we've talked about it, and we've both voiced why we disagree with each other. And then we've parked it and moved on, and I think that's really important, to be able to do that. And you know, sometimes I'm sure one or both of us leaves the conversation angry at the other person for being, in our opinion, a doofus. But it's important to not, you know, just completely ostracize someone who doesn't agree with you on anything. or on something, even if it's only one thing, it's important not to ostracize them, because then you get into those echo chamber things you hear about, and then that doesn't help anyone, right? No one learns anything if they don't have a conversation. That's a cool street. I think this is Wendell. I think this is Wendell. Anyway, so that's one thing, is the word Sonder. I just thought that was interesting, that, you know, like literally every person in this car, and I think it's really hard to remember that all the time, and it's really hard to be empathetic in that way, that like every single person in all of these cars has an entire lifetime of stuff that they're also dealing with, not just me, and they might also be sad because of the state of the world or the state of their life at the moment. Maybe they're also thinking about like which bikes that they should sell so that they can get another project bike, because that's what I'm doing. You know, there's so many things that they could or could not be doing. I think it's actually just telling me it's dying, is it? No, maybe it's dead now. But that's, you know, that's just something. That's just something that I think is an interesting concept, and I think it's cool that there's a word for it. I'm sad about my hip. Hopefully it's not too serious, and hopefully, you know, I can scrape together the money to get these pegs, because I think if I raise these pegs, it'd actually feel fine. I don't think it'd be bad at all, and it'd just give me another option on track, which is, you know, always good, right? It's always fun to ride bikes on track, in my opinion. I know a lot of people don't enjoy it, and that's it. I don't really have anything else. I just wanted to get this bike out for a spin, show you that it's still here. I have 24 kilometers back to Clayton Town for myself to enjoy, and yeah, that's it. If you watched, thank you very much for watching. Please do leave comments and let me know what you think about any of the topics that I have verbalized in this video with my mouth parts. And yeah, until next time, thank you very much again for watching. A special thank you as always to all of my patrons. I do very much appreciate you supporting the channel. And yeah, that's it. Thanks again. Adios. Outro crew. What is something that you can voice on the internet that is currently making you happy or sad? Preferably happy. What's something you're looking forward to? Give me some good news so I can be like, hey, that's some good news. That's nice. Good for you. Yeah. Something like that, you know. Do the whole like happy voice thing. Yeah, let me know. Let me know, outro crew. Your words, they make me think things and feel things, outro crew. Anyway, that's it. Thanks, outro crew. Bye, outro crew.